In May 1967, King Mahendra Bir Bikram Shah Dev of Nepal embarked on a historic visit to the Soviet Union. This visit was significant in the context of Nepal's foreign policy as it aimed to strengthen Nepal's diplomatic ties with the Soviet Union, which was then considered one of the world's superpowers. This video aims to explore King Mahendra's Russia visit in detail. To understand the significance of King Mahendra's visit to the Soviet Union, we first need to look at the historical context of Nepal's foreign policy in the 1960s. At the time, Nepal was a small, landlocked country facing numerous challenges in a tumultuous geopolitical landscape. King Mahendra was a visionary leader who sought to steer Nepal towards a more independent and neutral foreign policy. The non-aligned movement was also emerging, which sought to create a group of countries that were not aligned with any major power bloc. Before King Mahendra's visit, the Nepalese government made extensive preparations. A delegation was selected and logistical arrangements were made. Diplomatic protocols were established and preparations were made for the political context of the visit, including the global tensions of the Cold War and the emerging non-aligned movement. King Mahendra arrived in Moscow on May 14, 1967. The Nepalese delegation was welcomed warmly by the Soviet officials. Cultural exchange took place, with the Nepalese performing folk dances and the Soviets performing classical music. King Mahendra also met with the mayor of Moscow, who gave him a tour of the city. Meetings with Soviet leaders. King Mahendra met with several Soviet leaders, including Premier Alexei Kosygin, General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union Leonid Brezhnev, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs Andrei Gromyko. Discussions took place on regional and international issues, including the situation in South Asia, the Cold War, and the emerging global order. The two leaders also discussed the possibility of Nepal becoming a member of the non-aligned movement. King Mahendra visited several Soviet cities, including Leningrad, Kiev, and Tashkent. These visits had cultural and historical significance, and the Nepalese delegation visited places of interest such as the Hermitage Museum in Leningrad, the Kiev Pechursk Lavra in Kiev, and the Tashkent Opera and Ballet Theater in Tashkent. During King Mahendra's visit, agreements were signed between Nepal and the Soviet Union. These agreements aimed to promote cooperation and friendship between the two countries in economic, cultural, and political sphere. These agreements had a significant impact on Nepal's foreign policy in the following years. King Mahendra gave a public speech in Moscow, where he addressed a gathering of Soviet officials and the Nepalese community in the Soviet Union. He spoke about the importance of friendship and cooperation between Nepal and the Soviet Union, the shared values of the two countries, and the need to strengthen the bond between the people of Nepal and the Soviet Union.
The ideal as well as the practical. It satisfies us insofar as it helps us to work actively for larger unity and for peace and prosperity of mankind. It satisfies us also insofar as it secures us morally and materially against encroachment and interference from others.
King Mahendra's visit to the Soviet Union had a significant impact on Nepal's foreign policy in the following years. Nepal remained neutral during the Cold War and became a member of the non-aligned movement. Nepal also strengthened its ties with other countries in Asia and beyond, including China and India. King Mahendra's vision for a more independent and neutral foreign policy remains relevant today. King Mahendra's visit to the Soviet Union in 1967 was a landmark event in Nepal's foreign policy. The visit marked Nepal's efforts to establish its identity as a sovereign nation with an independent foreign policy. The visit had a significant impact on Nepal's foreign relations, especially with the Soviet Union, which became an important partner for Nepal in the years that followed. King Mahendra's vision of non-alignment and neutrality, as expressed in his visit to the Soviet Union, remains relevant today in the context of Nepal's evolving foreign policy.
प्यारा प्रजाहरूको हितोचित कृपाज महाराजाधिराज बुवाजीको त्याग र जनताको असीम सहयोगबाट आएको प्रजातन्त्रलाई सकेसम्म सबैले उन्नत गर्ने